But we are going to be looking at debt ceiling stuff today. The Fed finally came out and, well, I'll just pull this up here. But the Fed finally came out and said that they were going to address the debt ceiling. But, you know, Mitch McConnell, our resident ET in, well, I guess you can call him whatever you want. I'm not a big fan. But, you know, generally McConnell is saying that it's the Democrats' responsibility to suspend the debt ceiling, and that's kind of a problem. So what they're doing is they're kind of, well, let's just say they're kind of making it seem like they're not going to raise it, and some really bad things might happen, you know. So they're saying that, you know, really a lot of obligations, the government will run out of cash if they can't issue more debt. That's kind of a problem for them, and they do need 10 Republicans to vote to suspend the limit. You know, they're also saying that the Democrats have the power to do it on their own. My opinion, they're probably just trying to make it look bipartisan right now is their first goal. And I just feel like it's going to end up being something that they force the Democrats to do by themselves. I think it's too big of an issue to ignore. And we'll just say if we hit the limit, interest rates might go through the ceiling, borrowing might get really difficult because there might be a shortage of cash. That's what would happen if they let it go. So it might just be, you know, we might end up with super tight money policy all of a sudden. So that could happen. And that would be, you know, if they let it default like that, I don't know if that would be bullish or what. You know, it's really kind of hard to say. It's never happened before. Okay, so it almost happened in 2011, but, you know, it didn't. So we won't really know unless it happens what happens after. And generally, whatever anybody thinks about that, you know, is one thing. But right now, I'm going to trade the rumor and not so much the news. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up the news actually as well, so we can get a feel for what's going on in the rest of the world. I'm going to pull up the Forex Factory calendar here, so we can get into this. I'll go ahead and change my dates here to this week. Apply. And we're going to look at all these. Oh, we don't need medium. We'll just look at the high impact stuff that came out. We can make this quick. But inflation in the US, lower than anticipated. That's actually, in my opinion, probably some good news. I mean, it's been very high. So if you look at this CPI number over here, it's been extremely high. But what it seems to me is that it may be sucking back down to these ridiculous lows that were down here when we shut the economy down last year. Really interesting to see what's going on right now. But, you know, that number is not anywhere near as scary as the ones we were seeing earlier, so I'm not gonna complain when it comes to inflation on this month's report. Canada, on the other hand, they actually had higher than anticipated, still lower than it was last month. Okay, so Canadian dollar may see some strength actually, especially if we raise the debt ceiling here. Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely I mean, as far as the news goes, like, this is my favorite thing to look at, Tony. I mean, I don't need to listen to anybody at really anywhere, CNN or Fox News or any of this stuff. I can go see how the economy is doing right here. And I can look at this graph and see what's going on with retail sales in the US. And it looks like we had a little bit of a spike. Okay, this most recent yesterday. So that's a good number. Hard to tell if that's going to continue. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. Okay, so that's the point to understand, is that uncertainty is not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, so uncertainty is something that you could use to your advantage. Okay, and what I mean is that there are certain things that people like to put their money into when markets are uncertain. Okay, so we're going to talk about that in here today. And, you know, really take a look at what we can do to manage the existing trades we've got open. We've got a lot of them running because the market has been going very sideways. Okay, so we've got lots of stuff running right now. And, you know, more than likely, you know, I'm going to stick in all these, but we're going to go ahead and take a look at all of them and get a feel, and we can talk about why. Now, I'm not here to just open 800 trades. This is a live account. We're growing this account. I think it's at just under $1,000 or something right now. So I'm going to keep adding money to it, and keep trading it. And, you know, we'll just see where we end up here, folks. So we've already got this dollar Swiss up. Okay, and the Swiss franc is very much one of those shelter currencies, if you guys know what I mean by a shelter currency. If you don't, then Google it, and you'll find out more about what that means. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just make this chart full screen here. We're going to do some just basic analysis. And actually, you know what we might as well do first before we get in here? Hate to jerk everybody around, but let's go to the US dollar. Okay, so this is the dollar itself. And that's really where it might be a good spot to start. Okay, so if we look at this here, not a whole lot of big changes in trend direction. You know, just to kind of narrow this down, you know, here's a big one that we went down for a long time. Okay, and then the market made this big 1, 2, 3 here. Okay, this is a big 1, 2, 3. It did it. Okay, this is the double bottom we had down here. My opinion, very good chance that we end up sideways in this range, this big one. Okay, could go either way. This is the big range I'm talking about, though. This one here. Okay, we could end up sideways in there. You know, I very much remember. Well, actually, let's go back to this article real quick. The last time we were at this low down here was in October of 2011. Okay, so if we come back to this Fox News article that I had up here, I'm not saying that Fox News is the most, you know, well, I don't like any of them anymore. We'll just put it that way. But that being said, U.S. has never defaulted on its debt before. It came close in 2011. Okay, so if we go back and we look at 2011 and where the dollar was versus really everything back in 2011, it was all the way down here. Okay, so, you know, realistically speaking, I'm not going to be bullish right now, especially if I go ahead and I draw this other trend line from over here. This is the new trend we were on a few years. Okay, looks like we're falling. Okay, so looks like we broke that trend. We made a lower low, or lower high, excuse me, and a lower low on the right side of this trend line. So just to give you guys a better idea of exactly what I'm looking at, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, there's a low, here's a lower one, and here's a lower low. Okay, this high is still not higher. Okay, it could come up more. There's absolutely no gospel in the world whatsoever. Okay, so the dollar could come up. You know, people could borrow as much as possible. There could be so much demand for dollars before the end of this month when you can't get them, is what people might be afraid of. So we may need to change our direction here a little bit, you know, just in talking about this, because the reality of the situation is that, well, the market could go sideways. There could be an incredible amount of demand because people are anticipating. Well, let's just say if we go back here and we look at this, what happened in 2011, let's pull this up. Because there's no real knowing what's going to happen. You can only really look what's happened in the past in a similar situation and look for the same pattern. That's what trading is all about, is looking for a pattern. Okay, and it's being able to more or less kind of predict what's going to happen. So let's see. When House Republicans refused to pass a debt ceiling increase, okay, prompting the rating agency Standard & Poor's to downgrade the U.S. debt rating one notch. So that means it's harder to get debt. That's what it means. So the difference between having a 500 credit score and an 800 is that it's easier to get a loan with the 800 credit score. Okay, so there might be a heck of a lot of demand leading up to this period of time so that people can, well, sell the crap out of it, okay, in a couple of weeks. Okay, so we may want to get out of the way. I may take this $16 loss here for now, or I may look at, you know, ways to mitigate. Okay, so uncertainty is key. I want to pay attention to that. I also want to make sure I understand the economic effect of a potentially very tight money policy that's coming up. If you guys don't understand what I mean, then that's fine. For right now, we're going to go ahead and pull up some charts. Okay, and I want to look at the dollar first. We'll go to this USDJPY. And, you know, right now it looks like we might be, let's clear this thing out. Okay. We do have a very, you know, this is a positive signal for us to sell right here. Okay. That is a dark cloud cover. My opinion, a great signal. Okay. This USDJPY, I've got two positions in this one, I believe. So if anything, I may just go like that, close one of them out, see you later. I won't even think about that one. Oh, it wouldn't let me. I got a FIFO rule. I got to close the one I opened first. Okay, before I can close the other one. So I closed out one of those, no big deal. Now let's come down to a lower time frame, take a look, see if there's a place maybe I want to adjust. Maybe I want to look for a place that I might be able to get in again. You know, maybe I just want to leave it as is. Okay, that's really kind of up to you as far as this goes. But this is going to be one of those times that you really need to pay attention to, well, what's going on in the world and, you know, what might happen. I think this NZDCAD trade seems to be working out pretty well for us. So we'll let that run. You know, this USDJPY is actually, I'm just going to dump it. I'm not feeling good about this one. Maybe in a couple of weeks, there'll be a really nice opportunity to sell it again. And I might want to see where that is and just set up a pending order for myself. Okay, so that way I don't necessarily miss what might be one of the most awesome opportunities to short in a very long time. And that's really what I want to do today, is I want to mitigate my risk in the meantime, and I want to set up my, well, really, I want to set up a place where I can get in that I really believe is a great place to get in. Okay, I want an incredible place to get in. And the reality of the situation, it could be up here. Okay, I could actually buy this right now and let it sit for another week. More than likely, you know, they're not going to make a decision in the next week. The wheels of justice turn slowly in Congress here in the U.S. They don't usually do anything until it threatens their paycheck. So I'm fully expecting for them to wait all the way until the end of this month when the debt limit expires, okay, for them to raise it and suspend it, whatever it is that they need to do to avoid a default. I think they're going to wait until the absolute last minute, and there'll be a really big high five moment between, you know, all the people in the government, which is, you know, happy for them, but, you know, not necessarily what everybody in the world needs. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. We're on the monthly time frame still. Okay, I'm looking at really just big, heavy levels right now. So let's come down to the week. Okay, there might be another place I want to get in. I may want to buy right now. That's the truth. And a lot of it might be for the same reason I told you guys at the beginning of this presentation, is that if they are, you know, going to joke around with us about, you know, not raising the debt ceiling, I may want to buy up and sell back down. So let's figure out where I might want to buy this up to first. Okay, and actually, let's see here. I think this might actually be the fib range I want to try just manually, just see what we got here. Because this is really the range that we've been in, and we tested it, but we did not break out. We hit the 382. I wonder where the extension levels are. Looks like this 113 level might be a really awesome place to try to set up a pending sell order. Okay, and I may want to try to buy up until this 111 level. Okay, so that's 100 pips away. There's actually a few hundred pips here. In my opinion, there's probably a couple hundred. So I may actually just buy this right now. I'm going to go ahead and just reverse my dollar positions. I know everybody hates to do this type of stuff, but you know, I'll take a loss because well, let's just say I don't care about 15 bucks. And that's the reason why you want to keep things within your means so that you don't have to worry about stuff. You can make decisions that make sense when they make sense. I'm going to let my winners run here. This NZDCAD looks like it's been a sexy trade. I'll let it rock. We'll check that chart out before we get done here, of course. But, you know, let's just keep on moving here with our USDJPY for now. Let's get I need to get rid of this lock tool. And I just need to figure out where I might want to get in. And then I might just actually go ahead and buy this thing right now. And if you guys, what I like to do sometimes, and you guys, some people hate that I show this to people, some people, whatever, I don't care. I want to show you guys how I actually do stuff. Okay, so when I look at this, you know, I may just decide, you know what, I want to buy this right now. Okay, and I can't actually. They're not going to let me do this in here. I wonder what's going on with my MT4 account. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of my IG account. I am very jealous that a lot of you guys have AvaTrade. There's a heck of a lot more opportunity to do a lot of different things. One of them being hedging, which I really wish I could do. So I'm going to set this one. We're at kind of a high price right now. So I'm going to set this one up. Okay, I'm going to enter right away. And I'm going to set up another exit price above, down here below. And if you want to modify this stuff, because usually I just, you know, open up MetaTrader 4, I click buy, and then I drag the stop and limit levels. Because I can't do that in this platform. But I'll just go ahead and add some stop limit data here for me. Okay, so stop, we'll say 100. I want to look for 200 pips. I want to make more money than I just closed out on that silly little loss that we just had. That pesky $13. You know, so I want to keep on moving here. I now have a stop. I have a limit. Okay. My limit I need to make sure makes sense. Looks like the market turned around magically, you know, at this price multiple times. And all I did was just pick 100, 200. That actually, I kind of got lucky on that one. And in my opinion, that might actually be really early. Okay, so if I want to set up a pending order on this one, okay, that might be something I take a little bit more of a, well, I'm going to come all the way up to this 114 level that's up here. Okay, so I may just look for 114 and do the same thing from the top. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and add a pending order, place order. I want to do a pending order. This is going to be a pending sell on this symbol for the amount, whatever. We'll do a 0.01 here because it's still only $1,000 account. I don't want to go crazy and load into it 50 times and just be way over leveraged all the time and have to stress out about, you know, a 30% move in my account one day. That sounds like, you know, I might have to, you know, think about this. This sounds like a much easier decision. I'm going to go ahead and do this at 114. Okay, stop, limit. You know what? I might as well go ahead and do this at, you know, 100 pips, I think is a decent bumper for me. We'll do the same 100, 200. We might actually go bigger. I think that this dip might be bigger because it's the top of our range. The market really hasn't been over that price in quite some time. So now I've got two trades going. I've got my active buy trade and I've got a pending sell opportunity that I'm going to get in at this 114 because, hey, the market hasn't really been over that price by much, by more than 30 pips since all the way back, you know, when I guess Trump got into office. Okay, so it's been a very long time. So I'm confident with that stop loss. I'm not worried about the $10 I may lose. I'd be cool with making 30 if it does do what I want. And now I can just move on to the next thing. I want to go ahead and check on this NZDCAD real quick just because we've got two positions open on this one. I think the CAD is going to be pretty strong. I think that generally commodity-based currencies are looking for a boom. So this could be the downstroke that I want. We did get in. Somebody asked me for this trade last week, and I'm glad that I delivered because it is coming our way. This one moves like a snail, and for us to be up 75, 80 pips on it is, you know, if you guys can see how long it took us to do that. This move looks huge on this chart. This is a daily chart here. I place orders on every chart, George. Wherever I have enough information to make a decision, that's usually where I place my order. That's really the best way I can put it to you, and it's something that everybody's got a different school of thought. So I mean, everybody's got a different school of thought. I'm kind of the person that, like, well, if I place a trade that I like on the daily chart and it digs against me for a day or three or whatever, then I'll buy it again. If I think it's still going to go my way, I'll buy it again. If I don't think it's going to go my way, I might just close it out. Like you just watched me do with the dollar yen and go the other direction. So really, a lot of it comes down to the information you have and when you have it. Okay, so that's a very important thing to understand. This looks like a downtrend, I think, to anybody, and for a lot of different reasons. This is the hour chart that we're looking at. Maybe we just check to see what wave we're on. Haven't quite hit our extension yet. You know, I could decide to take some of this profit, this heavier trade, this 0.02. I might get rid of that exposure and just take that win. Oop, I can't do it. FIFO. Man, this is not as much fun as I hoped this account would be. Their FIFO rules are a little bit different. Actually, other brokers I have used in the past, if you had a different lot size here, you could trade that out. You could close that out. So that is different with this account. Let's just say I'm kind of annoyed with it, so I'm probably going to move this account to a different one. We'll just put it that way. So I can't do that. So I am just going to sit on these then. That is really all that I'm going to do. I may actually close out my smaller position here, take this 50 pips and run, and I'll look to reload this thing if it comes against me. Either way, I'm happy with taking a win. Can't go broke taking a profit. Yeah, Philip, if you want to check out this pound Aussie, we can do that here. That one should be interesting as well. But I will say I am fairly interested in looking at the pound pairs today, or excuse me, the US dollar pairs today. So let's go ahead and check out the, and I'm going to look at some fresh charts. We've only got a few more open here, and I think I'm going to close half of them. I think this CAD yen is more than likely going to be a buy here soon. So I may actually close all these. But let's get over to our GBPUSD. This thing is fallen. 50 pips. See you later. I'm not going to stick in it because I do think that, and also technically speaking, we went through the economic part of this thing, but I do think that we have, if anything, a sell opportunity. So I may actually reverse on this one and trade this sideways range that already exists. And let's actually just pull up this range here. Because we already see our counter trend line break. I'm very confident about that. This is a 1, 2, 3. The trend is down short run, so Realistically, I could make a fairly aggressive trade here, and actually, let's make this one a little bit bigger. I'm going to have a thinner stop loss. Let's go ahead and measure this. You always need to know how many pips you're trying to risk. You know, my previous high, we're talking about 35 pips to try to get 60. I'm in. I am so in. 35 to get 60. Ship it. All right, so now we're in. That was a very easy decision for me. It's a consolidation trade, so not a crazy big call. You know, let's just say nobody. I'm not going to be on TV anytime soon for that trade. So it's very. That's the way that your trading should be. It's the way you should feel about it, at least. Okay, the way you should feel about it is that it should be just an easy choice because it's not a lot of money. You know, I basically just bet a sandwich that I could get 2 sandwiches. Okay, that's really what I just did in my brain. You know, you guys figure out what's comfortable for you, and that's really what I'm trying to impart upon you guys. That's the number one thing that people are terrible at, and the reason why they stink at trading. Okay, so the point is that if you try to overexert yourself, usually you end up having a heart attack in your account. That's what happens. Okay, and I don't think any of you guys want that. I'm gonna go ahead and close out this EURUSD too. Goodbye. Reality is, may have been a better idea to close it out on Monday. You know, it's been a very, very interesting time that we live in lately, as you guys I'm sure all understand. So some of you may want to scalp, do more of what I just might have done in that last trade there. This pound USD I just opened as a sell. We just got in that one. Same thing goes for this USDJPY. Already looked at the CAD. Let's figure out if we want to get into this EURUSD. Okay, let's check out this all time frame. Okay, and see what target we might be missing. Because I think that we might be coming down to check this thing. That's really what I think. So we may be coming down to check this target that's down here. I'll go ahead and draw this. Okay, this is really the target that I'm talking about. This big, massive turnaround that happened there. That might be it. I think that is the place where a buy might be great to have. I think it also might be a decent time to sell. I like to keep this as simple as possible for myself, because there's a cajillion trading strategies out there, and everybody thinks, you know, mine is the only one that's right. Which is really funny to me. The only one that's right is the one that you can afford. Okay, that is really the point. If you can't afford the trading strategy you've got, then trade smaller. Trade differently. Look for smaller moves. Whatever it is. That's the thing that people really don't... Add more money to your account. That's the really easiest way to minimize a loss. Double the amount of money in your account. You got a $250 account and you're stressed out about a 20% move. You know, cut that 20% loss into 10% just by adding $250 to your account. It's not a lot of money. You know, this is a relatively short-term opportunity that I'm going to be looking for here. We're still in the week. Okay, I want to whittle this down a little bit, maybe. I don't necessarily want to have my risk-reward be that ugly. But now we're down on the day chart. And George, don't judge me. Don't judge me. I'm going to measure this. I'm going to measure this here. 140 pips at risk. 281, so I'm just going to do a 0.01 on this one. This is going to be a bigger look than I'm looking for on the pound. This is not as much of a scalp. Okay, I could look for the scalp trade, but no, really, I'm down to do either one. We'll just put it that way. So 140, we'll call it 275. So 145, 275. I'm going to risk 15 bucks to try to make 27, and I'm going to click sell. Excitement. So much excitement. It will get more exciting as I continue to add money to this account, but really, hopefully not. Hopefully not. I really am. I'm as a trader myself, I'm the enemy of excitement. My job is risk management. I am the fun police in my own account. This is not necessarily supposed to be something fun. I'm supposed to be building wealth and protecting my risk. You know, I want to keep my pile of money as much as possible, and I want to continue to be able to add to it and add to it and add to it. And that's really what this is all about. Okay, so if you're trying to become a millionaire overnight, then you're probably going to end up crying tomorrow morning. I mean, I don't get me wrong, John. I have tons of fun trading, especially doing these sessions, because I like teaching people about the things that I've done to screw up in the past. You know, I've just say I haven't been perfect, but I've learned a lot about myself, about trading, about market, about everything. You name it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close out this CADJPY. Goodbye. Okay, I think that one's going to be ugly. I'm expecting CAD strength. I'm expecting yen strength. It's real. That's really it. I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at. CAD strength, yen strength. This dollar yen may be a little sideways, but I think really this one we're set up. I mean, we're already looking for a 200 pip win up top to a level that I think we could get to today. I mean, a 200 pips in the dollar yen can happen very fast. So I think I had a request here. We'll do this pound AUD, and then I've got more dollar pairs I want to look at. Oop. Oh, wow. This one looks like fun. Would you look at that? It could be, you know, this is almost too pretty in my opinion for it to be real. Realistically, what I want to do real quick, I'm just going to show you guys UK economy. I want to know what's going on real quick because we are set up for something. UK tops G20 economic growth ratings. They're smashing forecasts. Okay, that's the fresh news, is that they're smashing forecasts. So, you know, is it time to bet against them right now? It might be. Let's go ahead and measure this out a little bit. This thing's been on a hell of a run, and I mean, as far as formations go, I don't know if you guys can see this crown that's up here, but this is it could be a false crown. Okay, this guy. This is what we might expect in this type of scenario. Yeah, we can definitely look at gold here sometime during this. We have plenty of time. We've been kind of rolling through a lot of stuff. Some stuff is very hands-off right now, I think. It does make it a lot easier when you understand what demand might be. So you know what to look at. So here, this pound Aussie, you know, let's go ahead and see where we are in the waves. Okay, so let's see if we're at a Fibonacci extension. We are. We're pretty much at the edge of an AB boundary that we broke out of. You know, when it comes to, well, we just made a drastically lower low. This might be a sell. I think gold actually might push up. Well, Australia is a commodity-based economy. UK, not as much. They're very services-based. So I think that this might actually be a fantastic sell. I mean, not just from a, you know, it's always one of those things for me when I get to a chart and I see a king's crown that looks that pretty. It kind of freaks me out. I'm like, oh man, that's too good. This thing in my brain, it's like, oh, they're trying to get me with this one. But I think this is really a great opportunity. I don't know how else to put it. I think it's an absolutely super sexy sell when it comes to, well, technicals, and we'll get into more of that on this lower time frame. We'll get down to the 4 hour. Okay, and it looks like the 4 hour. Oh wow, we got this nice bearish engulfing candle that happened. I'm gonna get rid of this king's crown that I drew for you guys. I don't think we need that anymore. I think you guys got the point with that. This is a crown. This here, you know, this is the serious crown. So, you know, this risk reward opportunity would be very easy for me. I'm just gonna go ahead and draw the current market price first. Okay, I want to get a potential place for a stop loss. Then I can see how far I need to aim for my stop loss to be worth it. Okay, and that's, you know, 100, maybe 80 pips away. How far away is that? Yeah, that is not a big deal in my brain. Okay, we'll call it, we might just give myself 100 pips in risk. I'm okay with 100. 100 gets me over this high on the left, too. This left shoulder gets me out of this range that we had been in. And, you know, really, if that's the case, I can look for 200 pips on the short side, see where that has me end up. And, you know, just figure out, okay, we're still within range. There's a pocket down here. You know, I might come here and just look straight at that. And we may measure with Fibonacci's. People might try to trade this like a trend. I'm probably not going to trend trade this down. Granted, it probably could. It could come very far. You know, if we measure this Fibonacci the other direction, let's actually get rid of this measure tool real quick. I'm going to dump this Fibonacci. I'm going to show you guys something from the top. Okay, we'll measure this from up here. And yeah, I think this might just be something I look for this consolidative trade and get out at my inside red level here, because I think that's as far as I need to go. I think a very likely price to get hit, and I think that's really as far as I need to take it. I don't think I have to take it further to get good risk reward. I'm going to go ahead and shell out the bones for this trade. And let's see what we've got. It's 100 and I guess I've got 180 pip risk. Is that? No, that's not right. Let me measure that. So we're looking at, yeah, we'll call it 100. 100 for 175. Deal. 100 for 175. Ship it. Ooh. Prices become out of date. They're not going to let me do that. That means I got to hit sell again. It happened. Now I'm in. It happened. There's a 3821 fulfilled on the monthly. We can look at that. Oh, you're talking about here, I think, Philip. This 382 down here at 184.7. Yeah, I mean, you could aim that far down. That wouldn't be a crazy look. I mean, really, we could, well, pretty easily change it to that if we wanted to. It could be right there. We could get real aggressive on this exit price. Because, I mean, I can close this thing whenever I want. That's really the point. That's the cool part about trading the Forex is that you can close this stuff any time you want. I want to get out right before it, actually. I don't want to wait until we get to that price. I want to get right before it. Yeah, I like that level. There's a pretty sweet demand zone. If I get rid of all this stuff now that I've drawn that, here's my new exit price. This is why it's fun to trade with friends. Got all these backseat traders in here. I love it. It's fun to make jokes about things that people have never heard before. But I think, yeah, this might be a great place to buy down here as well later once we get there. But well, let's just say I don't necessarily need to set up so many pending orders. I think I want to probably place some more right now trades. We got a lot of time left. So let's look at let's pull up some dollar pairs because I do want to look at more into buying the dollar right now. And I think that maybe things like check out this NZD. Actually, you know what? USDCAD. We haven't looked at this one in too long, I feel. Okay, so let's come down here to this day. And this one does look like we're in a little bit of a consolidative zone right now for the last several days. Okay, so this thing's been trying like hell to fall, but just hasn't, or trying like hell to go up, and it hasn't done that either. But if we go ahead and we look at this trend here, okay, this is the day chart. Let's come to the all time frame. Let's get a little bit more real estate so you guys can better see what I'm doing. Okay, zoom in here. Okay, now we're looking at the monthly time frame. You know, this thing's got legs to do all sorts of stuff. You know, I want to just look for places where the market's turned around a bunch of times. And then look for a place where above, you know, if I pick on the bottom first here, I'm going to use my eyeballs to figure out where there's a bunch of turnarounds above. You know, there is right there. We didn't quite hit that. Okay, we didn't quite hit this pocket right here. And I think that might be where we're headed to test. Okay, so this has been up. Well, this would be 3.5 months of up. Okay, it is very much trying to come down. But right now, I think they're flirting with this debt ceiling thing so that they can force it up a little higher before it takes a dump when they raise it. Okay, so trading is all about psychology as far as, well, not trading. Trading is about technicals and managing your risk. Okay, the bank and the little games that they play, you know, they don't really have a whole lot of power at the bank other than over your mind. So that's what they use most. Okay, so if I want to figure out, you know, where I want to get out, I think I like this price that we've got on the top of our box here. I'm gonna go ahead and measure this with a fib. We are on an uptrend recently. Okay, this is if we do hit our extension, which we might, because our C price is down here at our 618 and the corresponding red level above, we might actually just adjust our box here real quick and see where that is, so we can have a line on this red line, and I can make things easier for my brain to figure out if I like this price. And you know what I do? I mean, the market's turned around a cajillion times at this price. I'm not sure how many zeros there are in cajillion, but you guys can figure that out, I'm sure. A lot. Okay, so turn around, pocket, you know, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around, another one. You guys get the idea. For years and years and years, there's been lots of them. This price likes to get hit. Who knows why? Who cares? Doesn't matter to me. Okay, all I know is that we're on an uptrend lately. We broke out of this range, didn't make a lower low, and I'm thinking buy time. Let's go ahead and get a horizontal line on here. place where we might rip the tape on life up top. Let's go ahead and get a blue line here for our current market price. I draw that on every single chart solely because it's the easiest one to figure out. Absolutely the easiest. So I've got two previous lows right there. Our risk reward, this is important. Okay, we're talking about, this is pretty wide. We're talking about 260 pips. I may come to a lower time frame and narrow this down a little bit. We're looking for 400 on the top side though. So this is a really aggressive trade when it comes to distance. So let's just come down to the 2 hour. Zoom in a little bit here. Okay, and you know, this is kind of a pennant that we've got forming right here that it looks like we're about to break out. I'm going to go ahead and buy this anyways. I already know I won in this trade. It's just a matter of, well, let's just say there's varying different places where I might put my risk reward. That 100, 200 that actually was in there already, because I already had that saved there. Okay, 100 pip stop, 175 pip limit. That might be solid. Or I could go ahead and crank this up higher and try to get out of this range all the way up here where my green line is, change my take profit. Okay, and now I can just drag my stop loss down a little bit lower, get below these previous lows. Okay, so I've got a couple, 2, 3 previous lows. And now really what my trade looks like is something more like this, okay? So risk reward is incredibly solid in my opinion. We're talking about 195 pips to try to get 400. That's a 2 to 1. And I think this thing's going to be a rocket in the short run, okay? Philip, the idea is that yes, if the debt ceiling does go through, then the dollar will fall. What I'm more concerned about right now for this week is that if they do hit the debt ceiling, actually the dollar may go up a lot. Okay, so that's the thing. The fear is that if they do default, okay, it's going to make it much harder to borrow. Okay, so the demand is going to go way up because if you want to buy a house, for example, and you can't get financing because you only have a 780 credit score, the demand is going to be there. People are going to want dollars because there's less of them. That's really what they're trying to do right now, I think, is just kind of fake out that they're not going to lift the ceiling, because that would really cause them to have to raise interest rates like crazy, make it way harder to get any debt whatsoever. So people are going to try to get locked in on as much debt as they can and get as many dollars as they can before that happens. So what I'm thinking now is that, you know, while everybody is panicking and thinking, oh my gosh, I may not be able to borrow in 2 weeks, they might hurry up and borrow now. If that makes any sense. Okay. If you guys have questions about that, stop me, ask a question. But basically, if we're looking at a situation where the government's not going to have cash in 2 weeks, everybody wants to get them while they're hot. That's what that is. They want to get it while it's hot. Sorry, I'm not Southern, can't do a Southern accent. I'm from Florida, don't get me wrong. I guess that's Southern. But in America, we don't call it Southern. All right, so let's keep on moving. We placed our buy trade. We got it all set up. We're good to go. Let's go ahead and look at some more US dollar pairs. Let's check out USD. Let's check out the NZDUSD. Okay, this one's already coming down. Looks like it's a great opportunity to sell. Just my opinion. This is a 2-hour chart. Okay, we're going to pull up the month chart first. Go ahead and take a quick Terry gander at what's going on here. And it looks like we've got a trend line break and a lower high and a lower low and a lower low. And it looks like it's doing really what I would want to do for selling it. So let's just go ahead and bust this one open. Here we go. Sold it. I'm really getting crazy here today, George. I made that decision on the month chart. I know that stresses people out. Love you guys. I've already looked. I did cheat though. We looked at the 2-hour chart first. I'm gonna come down here. Okay. I've also already done lots of analysis. So it's not like I came here without an idea of what's going on. We've already looked at a bunch of dollar crosses as it is. I already read the news. I have a pretty good understanding of what I think is going to happen with the demand for dollars in the next week or so, while the government tries to decide if they want to save our butts or not. Yeah, fun. Fun is what it should be. Scary should never be a possibility. That's really the thing. You know, you should be able to make your trading account a romantic comedy. It should not be a horror show. That's really what it needs to be. You don't need to have any type of situation that, you know, you want a bunch of small jokes, bunch of one-liners. Norm Macdonald movie. That's what you want. Okay, so as ridiculous as that might sound, I can't believe we're making Norm Macdonald references in here, but that's the point. Okay, I want this to be boring. You know, I want to have fun with it. I want to win. I want to be able to lose. Okay, I like this trade. I might just leave this one be. I don't really think I have any reason why I want to change this one. Let's check our fib ranges here. Okay, and it does look like I'm aiming at kind of a weird spot, so I may try to take more profit on this because it did come up to our blue level up top, so it could come all the way down to something like here. Okay, and I'd be leaving money on the table if I didn't aim for that, I think. So, you know, reality, that price has been real popular. I may try to get out at these peaks at this price up here, just so I can, I don't know, avoid a turnaround that's maybe too soon, because we didn't quite hit our green level here above or our blue level, but we did work above our C point. So I'm going to err on the side of caution on this one because that's what I like to do. I'm a risk manager. So I'm just going to leave that one where it is, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to move on. And let's go ahead and look at the Aussie USD. Actually, this one might actually be a scary one. I think, actually, this might be a really good one leading up. Might be excellent, actually, leading up. This one might be a springboard. And when I say springboard, it might be the exact same thing we just looked at on the New Zealand dollar, the Kiwi. So let's do the same thing. I'm just going to go ahead and pull this fib level here. Because it's very clear. I mean, this chart's already bent. We've got 3 fib ranges in the down motion already. Very much same level above here. You know, if I want to look for almost exactly the same trade, I can actually do that. You guys wouldn't even notice. I could probably just change the chart and not told you guys. You guys will still think we're on the NZD. So let's go ahead and get our potential money line down here. This is where I aimed on the other chart, pretty much the green line. Okay, so now I need to get down to a lower time frame, figure out where I can put a stop loss. Okay, I need to have some previous highs involved if I'm going to sell. Okay, so what makes sense, okay, is maybe a little bit different on this chart versus the last one we were on. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a red line. Okay, and ideally you'd want to be outside of your AB boundary. Okay, I don't want to be that far away and enter right now. I feel like that would be stupid for me to do. You know, if anything, you know, I could set up half of my order to get in now and another half of it to get in, you know, later, which would basically, it would look something like, well, let's get a line on here. Something like up there. I'll change this to the right color. Hold on. Where did my did I move that window off my screen or something? Yeah, here it is. Okay, so let's make this blue. Okay, so it might be like a double enter type of deal. And you know, not everybody's super comfortable with that. I might want to do it higher actually, all the way up there. Okay, so this is really kind of a trader's choice. You can be real aggressive and you could put your stop loss here. Maybe trade it like, well, that's a decent risk reward. You could trade it just like that. Or you could look for something like this that I'm showing you here. Okay, which would be a lot, in my opinion, maybe less stressful. You're probably not going to get stopped out quickly, but it is a bigger loss. So I'm actually going to be a little bit more aggressive. Okay, I'm going to delete this other blue line here. I'm going to get in one time. I've already got some stop limit stuff. I'm just going to click sell here. It's going to put me in. And then I'm going to drag my stop and limit. Ooh. And then I'm going to drag my stop and limit. Let's go ahead and do that. My internet's going slow here today or something. And I think I hate this trading account. I think I need to get a different one. I'm going to move into it. I'm going to get a different. Let's just say I'll address that myself. This is my first time with the team at IG, and it's not that I don't like what they're doing, but I don't like how their FIFO rules work. We'll just put it that way. And my execution seems to have had a little bit of trouble here today, so I'm gonna fix that for myself. But let's keep on moving with this trade. Make sure you guys see where this is. Okay, that's what I just opened. Okay, I don't necessarily need to keep it here. Okay, that's what I just had. That was 175 pip risk. I may not want to be that aggressive. I want to put right there. Okay, I'll just click and drag these lines to where I wanted them. Okay, I'm gonna aim for 70.02. Okay, which I believe is our green level. Let's go back to the 4-hour time frame. Yeah, that is actually the edge of our boundary. So I could actually aim a little bit lower. Actually, nope, JK. That's where I put it. It is basically our green level. So this is really what this trade turned out to be. And, you know, I didn't really do a whole lot of analysis here because we've already done it everywhere else. I've already done it on all these other ones. I've got a bunch of stuff open already. Okay, so at this point, I don't want to place a ton more trades. I might look for, you know, let's see what's, I did close out the USDCHF because that was, let's just say I was taking a beating. I took a $13 beating on this one. Sorry, I like to make a lot of jokes, people. Don't hate the player, hate the game. But it seems like everything's going our way so far. You know, I don't know if I necessarily like this dollar Swiss as much. It is upside down, so it's kind of, a lot of people have trouble visualizing that, myself included. Okay, so currently, if we're going to be bullish on this dollar, where might we stop? Let's go ahead and look at there's another simple strategy we'll show here. Smart resistance. Where's that stuff? Okay, 94.7 is the next level of resistance. That's 180 pips away. Okay, no popcorn for me, Philip. That's fine. I don't like getting it in my teeth anyway. You can keep your popcorn, Philip. You guys are killing me. Let's keep on moving here. I'm gonna just leave a breadcrumb for myself on this monthly time frame. Okay, this is where our resistance on our monthly time frame is. Okay, and we are very much headed that way. Could come up a lot higher. Could come up all the way to the top of this box if we continue to range. Okay, and really that's a lot higher. If you guys can't see, let's actually pull a fib on the top here. See if we have a 382 we can aim at. Oh my gosh. That's where we're aiming now, this unfulfilled 382. This one was for, who actually brought this up earlier? I think, was it Philip? Was that you, Phil? I think it was. I could be wrong. There's a lot of chat to sift through, and I can't, it was Phil. It was Phil. That's an unfulfilled 382 there, and we actually haven't hit really anything but this 236 level here. So maybe we get down to this 86.5 number after the crash. You know, let's come down to this day chart. Okay, this is a little bit more clean. Okay, not as much to look at here. We might have missed this trade. Okay, so you guys can see where I closed out those other two trades. It did break our previous high. I let it go because, well, you don't marry any trades, you just date them. You know, that's why it's called trading. You're going to be in this for a day or so or whatever, then, you know, there's no reason to fall in love. Okay, so, you know, this isn't the best risk reward we've got here, but it is a rocket, you know, and if it does fall, I'll buy it again. And I'll show that here in a moment. Okay, I'm going to click buy. It's going to pull in this, you know, 100, 175, which is basically to the levels that I want. I'm just going to drag my stop loss down here below this previous low where my red line is. My profit target up top, I'm going to make sure we're on that profit target level. I feel good about that one. If the market does dig against me, I'm going to buy again. Right down here. Somewhere around 92. If it falls 50 pips on me, I'm going to get in again. Okay, so let's go to pending. We're going to do this at 92.2. Okay. And this would be a pending buy, actually, that I'd be looking for here. Stop, limit. And this would actually be this would be a much better trade. Okay, and actually I could change my limit because I don't necessarily need to get out at the same price. Now we'll call this one, I don't know, 225. 230 pips maybe. 230. That's the stop price, 230 for the limit. Stop price is below here because this is a buy trade. And we're talking about, I don't know, 75 pips. Okay? 75 pips. So I'm going to go ahead and set this pending buy trade. This is like a 4-to-1. This is a great risk reward. I guess 3-to-1, I guess. So let's go ahead and place that. If this thing digs against me at all, fine. That's okay. Yeah, George. Yeah, George, this is speed dating that we're doing right now. This is not, you know, look for a nice trade to bring home to mom and dad. This is, I'm going to be in this for 3 or 4 days, and then I'm on to the next one. You're going to be a rap star. That's really what trading is all about. It's about finding an opportunity, taking profit, getting out of Dodge. That is what this is about. That's why people want to trade, because generally you don't have to marry the investment. If you buy a house and you get stuck in it for 5 years, it's kind of annoying that you can't sell it. You guys earlier today have watched me trade. I've traded a lot of stuff in here already today. Let's look at gold. I know everybody wants to look at gold. Okay, gold. Well, if we think that the dollar is going to be strong, the gold may take a bath. Yep, and it is. Okay, gold may take a bath in the short run. Short run, people here. I do think that when they raise the debt ceiling, it's time to look for buys. Let's come to the month chart. Let's look at this all time. Get some stuff out of our way here. Crunch this thing down. Month chart is everybody's friend, because then you can come in here and you can look at stuff like this, okay? So people are always wondering, what's the long-term trend direction on gold? And it's up, because it has been for 2,000 years, okay? It might fall for 5, but it's been up for 2,000, okay? So you got to keep that in perspective. Gold is going to move, relatively slowly. As far as leverage trading it, it's going to feel like a lightning bolt, okay? So if you haven't traded this in your live account before, then do me a favor, do us all a favor, trade it in your demo account so you can see how much movement you can handle, because the risk reward is not the same as it is with a Forex trade. Okay, so they're very different. Okay, so if we look at this here, okay, we've got an inner trend line that I'm going to draw here as well. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get a Fibonacci on the top. We're going to keep this nice and simple. Okay, that is our current range AB boundary on the weekly time frame. So this top side here is $2,015. The bottom side here is, $1,676. I think $1,676 could be a great place. It could come incredibly lower. Okay, so reality right now, for what we're talking about, short run, going on a quick speed date for maybe next week, Tuesday, Wednesday. I might be looking for sells, but we're already kind of behind the 8 ball. Because if you guys can see this, okay, we're making lower lows, lower highs right now. Okay, this trend here is back to the beginning of this month, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Okay, so another 2 weeks before this month ends, wouldn't be crazy to see it go the same distance to the bottom of this box. So if you wanted to trade it to the bottom of the box, my opinion, probably the most logical way to go about handling gold right now. And you might want to be real aggressive on this. I mean, it's hard to say. I'm going to go ahead and draw what I think is a safer risk reward first. Then I'm going to look for the crazy one. Okay, there's our current price. We'll go ahead and get a green line. Oop. Where we may rip the tape on life. And, well, get out of Dodge. Maybe start looking for buys. Okay, so this is the price that the market's turned around at before. That's why I might want to, there's buyers at this level. Last time we got to this level, the market went up, I don't know, 3,400, excuse me. And then it got close, went even further. A lot of people may look for a little breather here. They may try to dump in somewhere up higher. Okay, that's really what I think makes the most sense. Because if you guys notice the difference between the risk reward right now and up here, is that one of them is close to a 1-to-1, and this is very much better. So, if anything, this might be a situation where you split your entries, okay, and have the safe stop loss, and you only let this thing run, well, really, maybe a week. You might get out, sometime Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. You might get out relatively soon. But that's really what I think for gold. And oil is another fun one. Oil, I know we talked about this last week. Oh, I got an extra backslash there that it's not going to let me do that. But yeah, oil is going to take a little bit of a bath, I think, right now. And this is just the backside test, in my opinion. Let's come to the higher time frame. I've already got some cool analysis on here. So when I say cool analysis, I mean very straightforward. I have 3 lines here, okay? And they're basically just showing me a counter trend line break because I think this trend is up. Okay, I think that's very clear cut that this is an uptrend. Being that we had negative prices on oil last year, it's pretty hard to be anything but an uptrend. Okay, so higher low, another higher low. You know, here's a high, here's a higher one up here. You guys see the higher highs and higher lows that are happening. This is an uptrend. Okay, so these counter trend line breaks, I think we might be looking for the same thing that we had on the rest of them. Okay, so if I make this a little bit prettier, you guys can see all these 1, 2, 3s that happened here. Okay, here's a 1, here's a 2, and here's the 3 move. Okay, here's a 1. Oop, here's a 1. This is the trend line break, backside test. There's the 3 move. Okay, and right now, I believe that we're in stage 2. Here's the 1. This is where 2, I think, is coming, and there goes 3. That's what I'm expecting. Okay, so super simple, my brain at least. So it makes it easy for me to make a decision. On oil, I think is a sell. I don't think for crazy far. I mean, it is at $71 right now. I think as soon as they raise this debt ceiling, it's going to go up a lot quickly. Okay, so the fact that, you know, Mitch McConnell came out and said, you know, we're not going to work with the Democrats because they should be able to raise their own credit limit in the U.S., which I think just sounds stupid. Isn't that why we have Congress to begin with? Isn't it supposed to be bipartisan? You know, obviously everybody knows that it's a huge problem, so they're not doing this to do anything but scare people into buying more dollars. Okay, everything must go. The U.S. dollar is going out of business. That's really what they've got big signs in the window that say, hurry up and borrow. Okay, so what that means to me, commodities might take a little bit of a dip this week. That NZD, USD, AUDUSD, those might be super hot to the south. You know, things are moving our way pretty quickly right now, it looks like. We're already up, I think, on most of these, okay, that we've opened during the session. Except for this pound Aussie. I wasn't as that one. See, that's the thing that always gets me on the ones that are really too beautiful when it comes to a setup like that. When I say setup, I mean it just looked like there was a perfect king's crown there. But what I'm looking for on oil is pretty straightforward. I'm looking for $80, just not this week. Okay, so what I might want to figure out is where is this going to go next? Okay, the edge of our AB boundary here is right up top. I think that well, if you wanted to sell this thing. Some of you may want to sell this thing. You know, it might be one of those things that you look to aim at this 382 level below. I'll make that green. Another unfulfilled 382 for you, Phil. It's one of my favorite strategies too, so I really appreciate that. But let's get a red line. Okay, if you wanted to sell this thing, maybe you do something like that. Let's get down to a slightly lower time frame, see if we've got extra highs. Yeah, I'm good with that. We've got a triple top up there. Double top, whatever you want to call it. I like that for a sell. I like it for a sell. Yeah, George, it was good to have you. It's good to have you. But that's what I think's going on with oil, and I think that's where it's headed. 66,666. The mark of the sun. I know a lot of people have differing beliefs on what that number means. But look, go to Google, and let's type this in, see what happens. 666, sun sign, sun symbol. Okay, natural number following 666, the number of the beast. Okay, and a lot of people is what they're going to call that. I don't know. I think it's a symbol for light. Is really what it was originally. It became the mark of the beast, I guess. It's kind of whatever people want it to be, but I think that this price down here is very likely this 66.60 price. So we are, you know, getting here to the end of our time limit here, folks. So I do hope you guys enjoyed the session here today. Just to give you guys a quick review, you know, we're very much bullish on the U.S. dollar until they say, "Yup, we're going to raise that debt ceiling." But it seems like we're going to have a little bit of a squabble for a while. So hopefully, while they're squabbling, and before they stop squabbling, I can make some money on these dollar trades. You know, really, it's a fun world that we live in. TV show of politics. You know, love them or hate them, they move the markets. That's what makes all of this gravy train go around. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, you know, the best way you guys can help us out, if you want to help us out, is give us a review. If you go to Google, type in 123Trade. I'll share this link for you guys real quick. Okay, copy link address. I'm going to put this in the chat. If you guys like these sessions, you want them to keep happening, well, let's just say there's a lot of different things that I can do with the company. If people don't like these sessions, then it'd be pretty clear. if they don't give us reviews. You know, I'm not telling you have to, you know, but if you like these, I would very much appreciate it personally if you guys just came here and gave us a quick review. But I did just put that in the chat box. There is a lot of information on our website. You know, I don't show it enough in these sessions. I do use this page a lot myself. But this news page here, okay, there is an ebook here that you can download as well. So if you want to come down and get the free ebook that's here, it shows how I pick currency pairs, and you can use it on this page. All the news for the entire planet, well, that I look at, is on this page. So if you guys want to check that out, all this stuff is free. Enjoy it. Love it. Let me know what you think about it. But happy Friday, everybody. I know it's hard to mess up Friday. You guys have a great weekend. Again, this is Will Bridges from your team here at 123Trade. And you guys be good or be good at it. Take care, folks.